Hello and welcome to Old Nerd Reads his Marvel Comics in Order. This is episode 22. This time we're looking at Uncanny X-Men, or at that time known as just X-Men, numbers 96 and 97. Again, if you watched the last X-Men video I did, I am just going to be using my classic X-Men issues for this for the X-Men at this period because I don't have all of the Cockrum and Byrne issues, the early Uncanny X-Men issues. The ones that I do have, some of them are in really nice shape. Some of them are kind of holding on for dear life, but I prefer not to remove them from their bags and boards where they're safe and sound. So I'm just going to abuse these classic X-Men issues instead for the purpose of these videos. Hope you don't mind, but it's real. I think it's cool anyway because these have some revisions, some updates, and some backup stories. So it makes them more interesting, I think, than just looking at the old original issues of the X-Men. First, let's take a sip of this Tim Hortons Dark Roast in my wife's Cracker Barrel mug. Pretty nice, eh? Now, I realized after I uploaded my last X-Men video, Giant Size X-Men #1, I came right out of the gate and made a mistake. I made two mistakes, but I came right out of the gate and made the mistake of calling it Old Nerd in a Thrift Store episode 15 or whatever, when I meant to say Old Nerd Reads his Marvel Comics in Order episode 15. My bad. Also, when I was going through issue #1 of Classic X-Men, I mistakenly referred to Banshee as Cyclops at one point. My tongue moves faster than my brain for sure, so bear with me. Anyway, these are the third and fourth issues of the regular series after the new X-Men showed up. Chris Claremont writing, Dave Cockrum doing the art. Of course, these classic X-Men issues have the wonderful Art Adams covers. Fantastic Art Adams covers and frontispieces. This is classic Art Adams right here. I love it. I so love it. But again, here's the credits, and you can see they distinguish between who worked on what, some of the old stuff, some of the new stuff. And again, I have questions about some of the old stuff in this one and missing credits perhaps. But anyway, this is right after Thunderbird died. He died in the last issue. And Cyclops is recounting it, and he's mad at himself, thinks it was his failure, and he blasts off an optic blast, and there just happens to be this old cairn in the woods near Xavier's Institute. So he hits that, breaks that, and that's what gets the plot rolling for this issue. He's looks at the damage he's done and not impressed with himself, but he walks away as something begins to appear from the top of the cairn that he blew up, but he's oblivious to it. So he failed twice. He failed Thunderbird, and he failed to realize that there was a demon appearing behind him. And then we go to the Danger Room where the new X-Men are training. And Wolverine, he gets a little crazy and nearly kills Nightcrawler for laughing at him. Moira McTaggart shows up. Her first appearance, I believe, was the prior issue. Banshee is very impressed. And this issue marks the first appearance of Stephen Lang. He was the head of the Sentinel Project, I believe. The Sentinels would go on to become one of the X-Men's big foes, especially back in this time. Again, here's some Dave Cockrum plane drawings. I mean, he really knows how to draw an airplane. I think must be Chris Claremont knew that and said, "You want to draw planes? I'll write some planes for you to draw." Now here, this is where I have questions about the credits. You see, this is definitely Dave Cockrum. This is definitely the original artwork in X-Men 96. But this is not. Either they snuck a different inker in for these two pages and didn't say anything about it, or this is a totally different artist. I mean, that's the Professor X that's on this page, And then we go back to Dave Cockrum, and this is what his Professor X looks like. It's not the same artist. If it's not the same artist, it's definitely not the same inker. I don't know. I hope somebody out there knows and can tell me. I always love this one. Wolverine carving tic-tac-toe on the desk during a meeting because he's bored. But this is when this demon attacks. Kirok, Slayer of Men. Dave Cockrum is great. I really didn't appreciate him enough back when I was a kid, but looking at it now, he is fantastic. I guess this issue is noteworthy as well for not only Stephen Lang of Sentinel fame's first appearance. This is the first appearance of this demon, who was created by another X-Men foe, and I can't remember the name of it. And then in the course of this fight, the demon zaps Nightcrawler pretty good. And this, even though Wolverine tried to murder Nightcrawler a few pages ago in the Danger Room, now he's mad that this demon attacked Nightcrawler, and this issue is Wolverine's first Berserker Rage. If you're a key collector, that's what this issue. That's another thing that this issue is a key, because it talks. He explains his going through a lot of therapy for years trying to contain the animal within, and he just failed. And it's funny because Colossus says, "You want to know something even funnier? Kirok's not dead," and Wolverine's like, "What?" So yeah, that's one reason this is, or one of three so far reasons that this issue was a key. I love Lorna Dane coming in with an M16. But Storm ultimately saves the day. See, this is cool. This little demon thing that's attacking Storm, you can tell that Art Adams included it right here on the cover. So that was a really cool homage to the original artwork. But they win. They put him back. They put him back in his. Well, they meld him down. I guess he's a pile of nothing. But this is just like a single story issue. This doesn't really continue on much. The backup story in this one by Chris Claremont and John Bolton, The Big Dare. This gets into. This is a good fight, little play fight between Wolverine and Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's having fun with Wolverine, but Wolverine ultimately gets him. And he kind of does the same thing he did in the Danger Room, but scares him pretty bad. But he's an old softy in the end. He's friends with Fuzzy Elf, or as he calls him back in this time, he calls him the Misfit. Wolverine calls Nightcrawler the Misfit. Now this device is Tony Stark issued image inducer, and Nightcrawler uses this to go out in public. It changes his appearance from a blue hairy demon to just any normal person he wants to look like. So he goes through some settings. He looks like this guy. He looks like Professor X. He looks like Storm. And him and Wolverine and Colossus, or is it just Wolverine and Nightcrawler? Yeah, just Wolverine and Nightcrawler go to a local bar. And Wolverine dares Nightcrawler to be himself and shut off the image inducer and just be himself. And he's just treated like he does, and he's just treated like normal. And Nightcrawler can't believe it. He's used to people being afraid of him and wanting to kill him for looking different. And so this emboldens him, and he heads out on the town on their way home, and he's walking down the street as himself. He even kisses a girl on the cheek. Probably get you arrested these days, but back then it was okay. Star Wars poster in the background. These two little boys that see him. Then of course there's the bully who wants to fight him, and Wolverine puts an end to it real quick. But before it can get too far out of hand, Nightcrawler teleports them out of there, and that's the end. It's a good little story. A lot of these backups in these classic X-Men issues were good little stories. Here's the original cover to issue 96, Night of the Demon, a reference to the classic horror film Night of the Demon, I expect. It came out in the 60s, 50s? I don't know. I forget. Old black and white horror movie. I love that movie. I'll have to do an old nerd episode watching that probably around Halloween time or something. That'd be fun. But yeah, that's the original Dave Cockrum cover. Here's the back cover by John Bolton for the backup story. Claws are a little short on Wolverine, but not bad. So that's issue 96. So Classic X-Men number 5 is issue 97. Havoc versus Cyclops, brother versus brother, with a Colossus in the background there, Wolverine in the background. This is P. Craig Russell on inking Arthur Adams on this cover, and he does a really nice job inking Arthur Adams, I think. I like his work. I like P. Craig Russell, period. I really dig his artwork. I think him and Arthur Adams have a similar style. But this issue features Eric the Red, Havoc, and Lorna Dane. This is a key issue for Lorna Dane. This is the first time she uses the name Polaris, I guess. Here we reveal that Professor X has been having these recurring nightmares of spaceships, a war in space, and this is like a premonition of things to come. He's having a premonition. These dreams are the Shi'ar reaching out to him, specifically Princess Lilandra. And this issue is also a key because it's Lilandra's first cameo appearance. You can kind of see her face there, but she's obscured. But that's Princess Lilandra. Oh man, it's a tongue twister. But yeah, she'll show up. She'll show up later. I thought this was a neat touch. It shows how Professor X gets out of bed. He's got this bar that he's able to lift himself up into his wheelchair. But then we go to the desert, where Havoc. What is Havoc's first name? Alex Summers, and Lorna Dane are living and working on their school project, some sort of archaeology project. But Lorna Dane gets attacked and knocked out. Then there's this right here, which is definitely not Dave Cockrum. Or if it's not Dave Cockrum, it's definitely not... Who's the inker that's listed here? Inkers, Sam Granger and John Bolton. It says Sam Granger was the inker from pages 1 through 20, but this is totally different style than this. So this was an add-on or a fix, or somebody stepped in and inked a page because somebody else was missing their deadline. I don't know. Hopefully somebody out there knows and can let the rest of us know, because it's killing me. But he hears her scream, heads back, and she blasts him, knocks him out. And then you see Eric the Red's leg right there. So Eric the Red has Lorna Dane under his control. And then Lorna Dane and Havoc show up at an airport. Look at that. More airplanes for Dave Cockrum to draw. Like his favorite thing. And then a big fight ensues. Another big plane crash and explosion. Eric the Red's reveal. Now, Eric the Red, apparently a long time back in X-Men time, Scott Summers Cyclops developed the identity of Eric the Red. I don't know the history there, but now Eric the Red's a real bad guy. So that's kind of surprising to everyone involved, especially Scott. Here's another page that I don't think was in the original comic. Does not look like the same art team. But then we're back to the correct art team. And Polaris is just knocking everybody silly. Great artwork, great fights. They had really great fights in these early X-Men issues. I always really enjoyed them. There you go, another Cockrum airplane. Draws them really good, doesn't he? I want to say that there's an early fastball special in here somewhere, but maybe I missed it or something. I don't know. Seems like there was one in here, and They named it something other than Fastball Special, but I can't remember now. Maybe it was in the issue before. Anyway, there's another Stephen Lang cameo. And Wolverine gets decked by Colossus because Colossus won't shoot Havoc down. He's about to fight, but Storm stops him. Another great early issue of X-Men. It's no wonder they went on to become such a beloved title from Marvel. Now this is a really great backup story, Chris Claremont, John Bolton backup story. It's a Colossus solo story. He's an artist and he's just sitting along the beach in New York and sketching a couple old timers playing chess. And he witnesses a kidnapping. And he, of course, stops the kidnapping as Colossus and saves the girl that they kidnapped. But she's unconscious, so he changes back to Colossus, or he changes from Colossus back to Peter before she wakes up. And this starts a little romance between the two, a very brief romance. She's Russian as well. She's in America because she wants to dance. And she's kind of fallen for Peter and asks him to come to her recital. And he does, and he comes and he watches her, and he really fallen for her. He waits for her forever. She takes a couple hours to get out of the dressing room, but she finally comes out, and they go for a stroll until morning when the kidnappers show back up. So she has some sort of rich Russian father who wants her brought home. So these thugs are trying to kidnap her so they can bring her home to her dad. And she doesn't want to go, and so Colossus armors up. This is the first time she's seen it, and she's terrified. She calls him a monster and runs off. And he leans on the dock of the bay all night, not unmoving. Finally tears the drawing that he made for her of her in half, and finally determines that she's wrong. He's not a monster. Original cover, Dave Cockrum, classic original cover. Got an airplane on there for Cockrum. And the very nice John Bolton back cover, just a portrait of Colossus. As a matter of fact, I think another reason that this issue is a key is because this is the first time we find out what Colossus's first name is and find out that it's Peter in this issue. So there's a little something, tidbit of trivia for you. But there's my look at Uncanny X-Men at this time, just X-Men 96 and 97 via Classic X-Men 4 and 5. If you know anything that I don't know, that I didn't discuss, or if you want to correct something that I got wrong in here, comment down below, please. I'm just getting started on reading my Marvel comics in order, so stick around with me. We got a long ways to go. And like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.